Hi guys, it's John from Android Alex, and this is a look at all the available Spigen cases for the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Now I'm saying all the available ones because these are currently the only ones available. Now there is a Hybrid S version of this case, but sadly it's not in stock, certainly not in the UK anyway. I seem to always have this problem with Spigen cases. The rollout seems to be quite slow, specifically with the Hybrid S. So you can see the Hybrid S on the screen here, but we obviously can't look at that today, sadly. So I would probably have preferred that case, to be honest, out of the whole bunch here, but we'll see what the others like. So I've put some time codes in the description if you want to just jump to the case that you're interested in, but what we'll do for each case is just have a look at it, see how it feels, check all the cutouts and the buttons, check out any camera bump protection and also any wobble when the phone is placed down flat on a cable, see how the screen protection is, and just any other thoughts on the case as to whether you should actually go for it or not. I'm going to start from the cheapest case to the most expensive case. So with that being said, let's start off with the Airskin. Also throughout the video, I'll be doing all the recommended retail prices in dollars because the UK Spigen site is so out of date. It hasn't even got the Fold 3 mentioned. So we're going to stick with dollars for the time being, but you can, estimate in your own currency what that will go down to. So like I said, we're starting off here with the Airskin, and this starts at $54.99. And my initial thoughts are this does just feel like an empty box. So it certainly feels light. Let's see what it's like inside. Okay, so similar to the Samsung cases, the Spigen cases do have these strips on the case to add to the grip. Now they do actually come with a spare set, which is, I don't know whether that's good or bad. Good in the fact that you've got a spare, but bad in the question as to how long are these ones going to last. But anyway, we'll pop these away, and we'll assume that these come with all the other cases as well. Right, so for $54.99, you're getting a very, very thin and lightweight, sort of hard plasticky shell here. Like I say, extremely thin, as you can see, and very, very light. So we'll peel off these strips here. They've certainly gone all out with these strips here compared to the official Samsung cases. So these do actually feel a bit stickier. You can see it's already picking up some dust here. Stickier than the Samsung ones. The Samsung official cases had similar strips, but they were kind of just a sort of rubber texture. They weren't really as sticky as these, so that'll be interesting. So let's pop it on the phone and see what it's like. Just clips on there. And clips on the front there. So yeah, initial feeling is that this is actually quite nice. It's very thin, very lightweight. So this isn't really going to offer much drop protection, I wouldn't imagine. I would imagine this would probably crack if you did drop it down somewhere, because it is so thin, but this is really just to prevent scratches on your phone. So there's no grip on this either. It's very smooth, sort of soft, plasticky texture here. It feels nice, like I say, nice and light. You don't really feel like you have a case on your phone. You can see here how the phone looks. Quite nice. It's quite a nice look to it. Let's just check the cutouts here. So the cutouts, as you can see, aren't looking too good here. We've got the mic slightly cut off, at least by half. Let's check at the top. And a similar story on this top section. The mics are being cut off. So that makes me wonder, is the case on properly? Now, as far as I could see, it was on properly, but I will pop it off and try again. Okay, so the case is off, and I'm just going to try again. I'm going to pop it as far into the corner as I can. As you can see. And before I even pop it down at the back, I'm going to just press as hard as I can sort of on there, see if we can get it to line up any better. It is better, but you can see it's still not brilliant. That's I'm not very impressed with that. I don't think I've ever had a Spigen case not line up before, but this is obviously the first one. Okay, so after a bit more pressing and pushing, it has now lined up. I do wonder whether it's the adhesive or the rubber strip that's actually causing it to not slide on properly. But I'd still say I'm not 100% happy with the way that went on, and it's still not lined up perfectly, which would probably annoy a lot of people out there. So anyway, let's check out the screen protection for this one. So on the front, we can see there is a tiny little bit of protection here, and that goes all the way around, a bit thicker on this side, as you can see. On the back of the phone, we have a very minimal amount of camera protection here, but that is enough to keep it off the table with this sort of raised bump here. So on the inside, we do actually have some camera protection. You can see a millimetre or so all the way around. So we could actually place our phone face down and it would be okay. So let's just check to see if there's any wobble on the phone when it's down on the table. And because of that camera bump sticking out like that, there is, I think you can't really avoid that with a thin case like this. It's always going to happen. We'll try it when it's flat as well. Yeah, that's got some wobble there. And the buttons aren't covered up, so we have the volume still visible here. So $54.99, very expensive. Obviously there's no side protection either on this case, so you're getting, you know, it's a very, very expensive, very thin piece of plastic, which isn't the most luxurious of feeling. You can hear this part of the case. Not even down on the screen properly here. So you can see I can actually just pull that away quite easily, which is possible on the Samsung cases just about, but this is quite loose. So this Airskin case is very, very thin and not the best lineup, sadly, on the cutouts, which would probably be a no from me. But it does at least offer screen protection, which not all cases do, on the inside as well. So we'll move on to the next case now and see how that fares. So next up, coming in also at $54.99 is the thin fit here. So again, it feels very light. So as you can see, whilst I've been peeling these away, they've actually been coming off the case itself. So that's pretty bad, really. I'm not impressed with this. Let's try and stick it back down and just get the top layer off. But yeah, we've already gotten off to quite a bad start here with the Spigen cases. Let's pop that back down there, try again. And again, these two pieces here. So like I said, these did appear on Samsung cases as well, but I didn't have any issues whatsoever peeling off the protective films. So this is really not looking good. I can't even get this one to come off. So I'm now having to do it with my fingers. I mean, this is very, very poor. Okay, it's stuck on now, but we've got one more to go. That's as good as I'm going to get it, I think. I mean, quite annoyed with this, to be honest. Let's try and very carefully peel. See, these ones have come off okay. See, this one has already started peeling off with the protective film. And if this happens to all of them, I'm not going to be impressed. And this one is also pulling up. So I'm sorry, Spigen. These are very poor as far as I'm concerned. Now we know why they included spare ones in the pack. Now, I don't know whether these were just rushed to market or something, but there's no real excuse for this as far as I'm concerned. Right, finally got all of them out. Oh, but I can see here there is something missing somewhere, so now I've got to find out where that is. Right, absolutely horrendous experience so far, but we'll put it onto the phone and see how it looks. Okay, so it's finally on the phone, he says. It's not even going onto the phone, this one. I don't know what's going on here. You can tell when it's not on properly because it's, there we are, making that squeaky noise. So that was horrendous in all aspects to get on the phone, get out of the box even, and unpack. So very poor first part for this case. So now it is on, and it is on properly. I almost don't really want to have a look at the rest of this, but we'll go through it anyway. So we have got screen protection here. We have got decent camera protection at least. You can see in there. Camera's protected. The cutouts, again, not very good here. The mic is almost getting cut off. If you look at it top down, you see it's a bit too close. It is all accessible, but it's not straight in my opinion. And from the top as well. Not the best I have ever seen. Volume button is not protected, and neither is the side here. We will check the inside display. And strangely, this one isn't really protecting the display. So this is just flush. Okay, so we'll just check for the camera wobble. And of course, because of that bump there, there is some camera wobble. We'll also check it with it open, see how bad it is. And yeah, it's not great. Certainly in this corner here. The first thing I think about this when I see it is that it's just a bit ugly. It just doesn't look very nice. This is very sort of sharp here. And it just doesn't, I don't know, it just seems to not look great in my opinion. I don't know whether it's just the initial experience I've had with this case to make it look bad. I mean, this earpiece cut out as well, sort of goes under like a cave almost. I don't know, it just doesn't look good or feel good in my opinion. I would certainly not go for this case, especially due to all the problems that I had actually getting it on in the first place with all those rubberized bits inside falling off. I normally actually sell cases after I've finished sort of reviewing them, but with this I'm just sending this straight back for a refund because that is an appalling experience. Right, let's see if we have any better luck with the Ultra Hybrid. So this retails at $64.99, so it's a tiny bit more expensive. So this is actually a hard shell at the back here. Slightly flexible, but the rest of it is rigid. And the front section here is also, feels slightly more rubberized actually, but it is still plastic. Interestingly, with no grips at all around the edges. So it'll be interesting to see how this one fits on. It's very lightweight, so that's one positive. Quite a snug fit there. And also quite snug on the front. Okay, so this is how the phone looks with it on. Doesn't look too bad, to be fair. If you had the silver or the green one, then you'd probably see a bit more life through the case. Now this section here seems to be okay, but it is lifting up a bit. Let's just check. There's enough screen protection there. And on the back of the phone, the camera bumps are just about protected there with this raised edge here. And on the inside, we don't really have any protection, maybe again, 0.5 millimeter or so, but I wouldn't be happy putting that flat down on any surface. No protection here for the buttons or for the fold itself. So we'll just see if there's any wobble when it goes down on the desk. And there is, obviously, because of that camera bump sticking out at the back. You are going to get some wobble there. So overall, $64.99. I can't really say it's worth that amount for what you're getting with this clear sort of hard shell. There's no particular reason it should cost that much money. Now, it's a good grip on the hair compared to the previous two cases, but it's not an extra $10 worth of grip, I'd say. So yeah, not brilliant there. The cutouts are okay on this one, which is a first, although it is slightly off there maybe. Yeah, it is a tiny bit off at the bottom. I guess if you want to still be able to see your phone through the case, then that's a good one to go for. But as you can see, my enthusiasm for Spigen cases is dwindling the more cases we try out. We do have this air cushion technology here, which is meant to protect your phone if it does have any bumps, and you can feel a very tiny bit of movement when you do press in there. But obviously, if it did drop on the fold itself, then there's nothing stopping it from getting damaged. So let's move on to the Tough Armor next and see how that one looks. So here we have the Tough Armor, and this retails at a eye-watering $84.99. Now, I understand wanting to protect your phone, and obviously it's an expensive phone, so you need to buy an expensive case maybe, but I don't know, it just seems a bit excessive to me. It's more expensive than the official Samsung cases. Right, wish me luck. I'm going to start unpeeling these protective films and hope that none of them actually come out this time. Right, so amazingly they all came off without any issues at all. So we have got all our little rubber sort of sections side intact, which is good. So this, as you have noticed already probably, is a case which also protects the fold of the phone. So I was quite interested to give this a try, and obviously at $84.99 you certainly want it to be good for the price that you're paying. So it's quite lightweight, to be fair, hard shell. I don't think the sort of book spine section here adds too much weight particularly. So let's hop it on and see what it's like. Goes on nice and easily there. And it goes on nice and easy on the front as well. So here it is, and yeah, it is quite thick and chunky. It has turned the phone into a bit of a tank here, but if you are going out and you are likely to drop your phone down a mountain or somewhere, then this would certainly help, I think. Aside from the fact it is sort of smooth, soft, slippery material, this sort of textured bit on the spine or on the fold here does actually help add a bit of grip, so that's quite nice. We can see although the volume buttons aren't protected, they are in a big sort of dip here, so there is a lot of case protecting them around the side. We can also see the front screen is protected very nicely here, all the way around. That's a good 0.7 of a centimetre, I'd say, around here, and it feels good and sturdy. The camera bump is protected very nicely, as you can see. Plenty of space there above the camera lenses, and we should find that there is no wobble at all. Certainly when closed. Let's open it up and have a look. So when completely flat on the table, there's no wobble at all, which is really nice. And this is what it looks like with it open. Now the cutouts, again, are very slightly off in my opinion. You can see that isn't central there. And this is on as far as it will go. Same at the top here. They're okay though, they're just not perfect is the problem. So if you're a bit OCD with things like that, then that would probably bother you quite a bit. I can see here the protection for the fold is quite nice. You can see all the way through, but it is at least protecting your fold here. So it would still touch on the floor. If you can see here, the protection for the fold itself doesn't protect the very end. So if you're very unlucky and it was to drop like this, then you would still actually damage the very corner of the fold here. So that's a slight shame that that is the case. But yeah, other than that, this is actually not too bad a case, I'd say. Certainly the best of the bunch that we've looked at so far, but it is obviously extremely expensive. So opening it up here, we seem to have a bit of a problem with the spine not actually going in. Let's try that again. Yeah, this is not good. So the spine here is not actually sliding back into the case when I open it, and it's causing that to lift up on the screen here. And again, as far as I can see, these are on properly. I can't really get that on any further. But yeah, when I try and open this up, if I do it from this side, you might see it's just going up there basically rather than sliding down here. If I give it a bit of a push whilst I'm opening, that's fine. But yeah, that is very disappointing to see that you can't even open your phone and close it without pressing this down to make sure it opens up properly. So again, in the comments below, if I'm doing something wrong here, do let me know. But the fact that that is pushing up here is very worrying to me. I wouldn't want anything to snap and then, you know, smash into the screen as it snaps open. So this, I'm afraid, is another no-go from me, just for the fact that this doesn't actually function properly. Right, last up we have the Slim Armor Pro. Not sure why it's in a different box, but it is. And this retails at $94.99, so this is even more expensive than the previous disaster we've just looked at. So again, wish me luck with these. Hopefully they all come off without any issues. Right, so thankfully they did all peel off without any issues at all, so we're left with these two sections. This is the back of the case here with this sort of spongy material to absorb any drops. You can see it's quite a thick case here compared to some of the other ones we've looked at today. And nice hard shell. And here's the front section. So here we actually have a spine for the back of the fold, which is nice. And this feels sturdy enough. Slightly loose there, but let's just have a look at this protection here. Now this looks to me like it's going to cover up the whole of the back of the fold, which would be nice. So we will find out shortly. So we can see in here there are some springs which are keeping this closed down. So it'll be interesting to know how long or how sturdy those are. But they do spring back quite well. So let's pop this on. This, I mean, it doesn't feel very heavy. It's reasonably lightweight considering the size. It's clipped on nicely, so let's see how this goes on. Right, so here's the Slim Armor Pro, and to be fair, it's actually not looking too bad. Let's just check. Cutouts are probably the best we've seen so far. Not 100%, but I'd say about 95% okay there. Not as good at the top here. But yeah, this interesting section of having a sort of flappable opening for the fold is interesting. So when we open it out, basically, that actually goes to the back of the phone. So that's quite, they've actually used their brain and actually designed something useful there. So anyway, this is what the phone looks like. Now, sadly, because of this hinge sort of mechanism here, the front of your phone now looks quite ugly, in my opinion. You've got these horrible hinges here that you can see. Why they didn't just cover those up, I guess it's because that needed to open up over there, but still, surely something could have covered these up, because that's a bit of an eyesore to say the least. Now we do get lots of screen protection here, which is good, all the way around. And the camera at the back, not as much protection as I was expecting. There is a slight raise here, so that will probably cause a bit of a wobble. On the inside, we don't have any protection either, so that's disappointing. There's maybe half a millimeter there. But yeah, there's nothing really protecting this. So let's just see when it's closed. A tiny bit of wobble in this bottom right corner here. When open, let's see what happens here. So we've got a little seesaw here. Okay, so you can see here how bad the seesaw effect is with the case open. So I would suggest if you do have your phone or use your phone on a table, I certainly wouldn't use this case because it's going to be unusable. So out of all the cases, I'd say this is certainly the best one to go for. I will just have a quick roundup of the other cases so we can actually compare them all, and then you can make up your decision as to which of these, if any, you're going to go for. Right, let's start off at the top then and just go through each case again. So we started off with the Airskin case. So this is certainly the lightest case I've ever felt, I think, for the Fold 3. It's very thin, but it does feel a bit cheap and tacky. And I don't know, it just didn't seem to feel nice on the phone personally. I don't think I'd trust this myself to protect my phone if it did fall down. Now I know it's not really meant to be a sort of rugged case, but you still want some basic protection, I'd say, for your phone, especially when it's one as expensive as this. After that we moved on to the thin fit, and this is where the fun really started. So I had problems with the sort of peelable things that came off, and I had to manually stick things back on, and that was a horrendous experience. I wouldn't ever want to go through that again. And yeah, it's a first world problem and all that, but when you buy a case for $54.99, you'd expect it to actually be decent enough to work out the box, so to speak. So, and obviously when it was on the phone, it didn't even feel that nice either. So I would certainly give this a hard pass. After that, we had a look at the Ultra Hybrid, and this retails at $64.99. Thankfully, no issues with any sticky pad things because there weren't any on this case. However, it didn't look particularly nice in my opinion. I don't know if I've just been spoilt too much with the official Samsung cases, but overall grip was good, protection was good. But for me, the style and look of it just didn't seem to fit very well with the Fold 3. Next up, we moved on to the Tough Armor, and this was the $84.99 case with the spine, which I was quite happy and impressed with initially, up until the fact I tried to open the phone and the spine itself wasn't actually going back inside the other section of the case. So it was pulling up on the front of the screen, and it just horrible. I don't think I've ever seen a case quite so bad in my life. So yeah, that's such a shame because the Tough Armor is normally a nice one to go for on the Spigen cases. So yeah, I'd certainly give that one a miss as well. So last and, well, not quite least, is the Slim Armor Pro here, which is $94.99. So the most expensive one, but to be fair, it was the best out of the bunch. So we did have the complete fold protection here. It's very good, sort of rugged case. But the front of your phone looks quite ugly with it on. You've got these hinges that are always on display. But I do like the fact it does protect the whole of the phone. But yeah, it's extremely expensive, and I don't think it's really justifiable to charge that sort of money for a sort of standard case, so to speak. So I have put Amazon affiliate links in the description if you want to risk picking any of these up. Now, I'm going to certainly send back all of them. I'd say I'd probably keep this one if I was going to keep any of them, because I think that is the best one out of the bunch. But that obviously that's $94.99, which is just disgustingly expensive. I'd say if I was going out on some sort of day trip to, I don't know, the woods or the forest or something, I'd probably use this one to take with me. The other cases though, I would just avoid them all, to be honest. It's a shame, and I've never had this experience with Spigen before. I've done all the, Galaxy S20 Spigen cases and I haven't had a problem at all, but this, I don't know, maybe the Fold 2 had a similar issue, but yeah, these are just very poorly manufactured in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed how difficult that was for me and how annoyed I got. I don't normally get annoyed making videos, but I was ready to just throw these in the bin and just forget it. But sadly, I do have some Galaxy Flip 3 Spigen cases to go through as well. So I'm going to record that video now and that will be up soon as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and do click on the like button if this helped you save some money by not buying one of these cases. And be sure to subscribe as well, because that really helps out the channel. You can also click on the join button if this has helped you out and become a member, and that helps me out. Right, so I'm going to go and start some Amazon returns here, and I will see you in the next video.